What's going on, YouTube? My name is ginj-tcg, or Chris, and today I'm back bringing a blast from the past with Roaring Moon EX. Now, I feel like this card hasn't cracked the meta in a while, and I think, honestly, it's not even a bad time to start playing it. I mean, you still have Frenzied Gouging, which is just an insane way to deal with some super tanky Pokemon. You can knock out your opponent's active Pokemon at the cost of doing 200 damage to yourself, which does leave you with 30 HP remaining, but when you pair that with Ancient Booster Capsule, adding another 60 HP, you can now OHKO Dragapults without worrying about the Phantom Dive doing 6 damage counters and KOing like a Roaring Moon or 2 if they have 30 HP left, because now you're at 90. So now, you know, they still have to use that full 200. They can't just put 60 damage counters down and take the KO. So it's not a bad way to deal with Dragapult. And if you're worried about, you know, the single prizers in the deck, or maybe not using Frenzied Gouging, you know, you're kind of leading towards the Calamity Storm attack, where you can do 220 damage if you discard the Stadium in play. And you're like, oh, well, how does that KO Dragapult? If you get some damage down early with Pecharunt, with Toxic Subjugations, where you can do 6 total damage counters to your opponent's active Pokemon when you poison them with Brute Bonnet, and you can make that 8 damage counters worth of poison if you have Perilous Jungle, which we play 3 of, in play. So between Pecharunt and Roaring Moon, this deck actually has some insane lines. I think the combo with Pecharunt can also be very underrated and take out some, you know, like basic EX Pokemon such as Squawkabilly, or if you use Poison Chain on some Mew EX, since you swing for 20 damage, it'll do that there too, and they can't retreat. So even using Poison Chain and just forcing Squawkabilly or Mew in the active spot, if your opponent doesn't get that switch out, you could surprisingly take 2 prize cards with Pecharunt, which is kind of nuts, on top of the donk potential that this deck has. Now, a massive late game sweep, which a lot of people forget about, is always going to be Pecharunt EX. Now, this Pokemon has an insane attack with Irritated Outburst, doing 60 damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. And since we're playing many single prize Pokemon, it's not uncommon for our opponent to just have 1 prize card remaining, allowing us to swing for 300 total damage. And then if we poison them with Brute Bonnet, and then have Perilous Jungle in play, that's 330, which is KOing things like Charizard EX and Dragapult on the last turn of the game. So you have 3 phenomenal attackers with this deck. Now, we're playing a couple other dark Pokemon. Actually, I mean, I talked about Brute Bonnet. We're playing Fezandipiti, is the other dark Pokemon. You guys know what Fez does. Flip the script, it's kind of cracked, and so you've got dark Pokemon in play. You know, it just kind of fits. There's really no reason not to play Fez in any deck at all right now. And since we're playing Roaring Moon and, you know, like Pecharunt, we're kind of looking for that turn 1 KO regardless of going first or second. So we are running 2 copies, excuse me, of Squawk, as well as 4 copies of Carmine, which allows us to discard our hand during the first turn of play and draw 5 cards. So it's essentially like a worse Professor's Research, but if we're going the Pecharunt Donk line, we actually can use Carmine on that first turn, as well as Squawk. So it allows us to cycle through our deck very well and find the pieces we need, such as Perilous Jungle, Brute Bonnet, and Ancient Booster Capsule. Now, the rest of the deck is just about exactly what you'd expect from Roaring Moon. We're playing 4 Sada. We got 2 Binding Mochi, also just to boost our damage. You know, like, if someone puts, like, a Bravery Charm on a certain Pokemon and Calamity Storm doesn't KO, Binding Mochi is oftentimes enough. Does enough to take that KO, and if that doesn't, you know, Perilous Jungle, Brute Bonnet, Poison, you know, the whole Poison package, it'll fix all the math you really need it to, whether it's, like, you know, a Blood Moon or Saluna or a Terrapagos, you know, when there's Curly Wall in play or something like that. I mean, this deck can get around some huge numbers fairly easily, and I know something people are worried about is, like, you know, Terrabox. Terrabox is kind of tearing up the format right now. I think that deck is doing really, really well. Honestly, I think this deck can hang because you can Calamity Storm most Pokemon. You really don't need to Frenzied Gouging at all in that matchup, and if they're leading like a Noctowl or Fan Rotom or something, you know, you could still go with Pecharunt and kind of take that Donkey, or, you know, trade single prize for single prize. It works fairly well, and that's a deck where you can easily bring up Mew, bring up Squawk, and rip Poison Chain and hope they don't have like the switch out or something like that, especially if they use Prime Catcher or Reveal. I mean, most decks, I feel like, don't play Prime Catcher. They play Sparkling Crystal, but, you know, you could wait, see, especially in a best of 3. I think Roaring Moon, honestly, is pretty well positioned. Just to help with consistency, I am going with Secret Box. One thing to notice in this list has been floating around in a few different tournaments, so it's not necessarily mine in particular, but I can't find the first person who used this list. I found this list across 6 different tournaments in the US, as well as a bunch more in Japan, but something I've noticed is there's only 1 copy of Night Stretcher, and at first that really bugged me, and then I realized we're playing multiple copies of so many different attackers. We have 3 Roaring Moon EXs, 2 single prize Pecharunts, 2 Pecharunt EXs, and, you know, like, if absolutely needed, you could even use Brute Bonnet as a single prize attacker. You really don't need more than 1 Night Stretcher, because the only thing you're ever going to bring back is 1 energy for a manual attach, or maybe you actually need to bring back like a Roaring Moon or Pecharunt, because you just can't find them, but within a turn or two, you usually can find multiple attackers, especially when we're playing 4 copies of Nest Ball and 3 copies of Ultra Ball. The reason we don't need more is because we're playing 4 copies of Sada. And since all of our Pokemon, with the exception of Pecharunt here, well, and Fez and this Pecharunt, you know, they're not ancient Pokemon, Sada doesn't accelerate to them. This is the only one I feel like you really need to just get that energy in hand to attach to if you're going for a Poison Chain. Just because this is a late game attacker, so by then, you know, you're able to find one of your copies of Energy Switch. And just kind of move energy between ancient Pokemon to your other dark Pokemon. So, you know, this deck doesn't play any switch outs. You could use E-Switch to move an energy and retreat. Or just use Pecharunt's ability to switch. Actually, I'm trying to think of a situation where you would retreat. I don't know why I said that. I don't think you can. Ignore that. Don't just, y'all know I'm just yapping yap. That totally threw me off. Yeah, that's the deck. Y'all seen Roaring Moon. You guys know how it works. So before you hop into today's video, just a reminder that we got that TCG Player affiliate link in the description down below. So if you're going to TCG Player, you might as well use my affiliate link. It supports the channel in a huge way, no matter what decks you're looking for, whether it's singles, decks, or deck accessories for any card game. Does not matter what. TCG Player has it ready for y'all. So if you click on my link to support the channel, thank you guys so much. I, for real, appreciate that. Yeah, with that being said, let's just hop into today's video and just kind of prove that Roaring Moon still has a spot in the meta. Welcome to match number 1. We are going first, and we're up against Arch Aladdin, which is a difficult matchup, but one I think we are very ready to take, especially when, honestly, if that was any other Pokemon, like any other lower HP Pokemon, you know, basic, I definitely could have taken the KO this turn. I don't think I'm going to worry about it too much, though. I'm just going to play as simple a game as possible. I do want to get some early damage down, though, so what's the best way to do this? We're probably going to have to just sack some resources. I don't know if I need to play Squawk right now. I'm going to Earthen Vessel away Ultra Ball and take 2 energy. Right, because then I can Secret Box away 1 energy, E-Switch, Squawk. I like that. Let's do that. We're gonna get 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that works. We are going to take Carmine. We do have Pal Pad. We've got all of our Sadas. We've got Boss is cool. Our Tool. I am gonna take another Ancient Booster Capsule as well as Perilous Jungle just to get some extra damage counters done on Duraludin right now. I'm going to use Nest Ball. I'm gonna take out Brute Bonnet just because I am gonna Carmine this turn. Try to draw into a bigger hand for the following turn. And I don't want to waste any of these tools. I'm also going to put one on Roaring Moon just to see if I could force my opponent's Arch Aladdin deck to use a slightly untimely, what do you call it, Black Belt's Training or something like that. You know, try to just make them work a little harder. I'm going to get a manual attach down on Roaring Moon just because we do want a Sada manual attach the following turn. And thank gosh we got Nest Ball for the single prize Pecharunt. So now I can use Brute Bonnet, right? Because we just need our opponent's active to be poisoned. Pokemon in the active spot? Yeah, so I don't want any extra damage counters on Pecharunt just in case. So we're going to use Toxic Powder now, poison our opponent's active as well as ourselves. We're then going to use Subjugating Chains. Actually, I'm going to be poisoned no matter what now that I think about it. Because we're going to switch into the other Pecharunt, poison ourselves in the process, and then pass 4 turns. So my opponent is going to take 80 poison damage. And that's what I mean. Like, we had the Donk KO, had that been a Dreepy, had that be a Ralts, you know, something like that. We could have done the awesome Donk, which people have seen many, many times at this point. I feel like it's a lot less surprising. Like, people just kind of know it's coming. I think Roaring Moon is just a more consistent deck to pull it off. My opponent is going to Ultra Ball away Black Belt's Training. The energy makes sense. That damage boost from Black Belt's Training could be wildly influential since we are now at 290 HP. So if we're not using Frenzied Gouging, if we're just Calamity Storming, you know, they might be in trouble. And I don't think they realize the 8 poison damage they took is the perfect math for Calamity Storm to now KO. And that's kind of why I wanted, you know, the golden setup. My opponent's going to research here. Oh my gosh, wait, they got rid of another Ultra Ball. They're down, what, 2 Ultra Balls? That's not bad. And Night Stretcher. That's pretty big, actually. It could make it hard for my opponent to search out an Arch Aladdin in the late game if they don't have just the natural draw into it with the research or something like that. Another Night Stretcher is hitting the discard pile. They're pulling the energy out. And, you know, if they don't have a KO this turn, that would be huge. Because then we'll KO Duraludin, and then we'll also, honestly, boss up Scyther. And I'll just deal with that guy now. I really don't want to see this single prize menace. If y'all watch my Arch Aladdin video, you guys know just how important the single prize Scizor could be. So if I could get rid of that guy nice and early, I will do it by all means. So we'll take one prize card there. I will get a Carmine, which is pretty sweet. And they promote Scyther, so I actually don't even need to use Boss's Orders. Okay. Well, if that's the case, let me go Earthen Vessel, get rid of a Carmine. Take 2 more energy. I can attach one to Roaring Moon, but I need to hit Sada off this, and we do. No problem. Alright. Hey, that works. I will attach an energy to Roaring Moon. I will not use Carmine. I will use Professor Sada's Vitality. Smack this energy on Roaring Moon, so now we got 2 Pokemon ready to rumble. And, you know, honestly, this is pretty cool. I'm not going to bench this Roaring Moon yet, just because it's a bit easier for my opponent to boss KO. We could also stall it in the active, since we don't have a great setup to get that thing rolling. I think I would much rather just use Toxic Powder, poison my opponent's active again. No need to go into this Roaring Moon. You know, we're not dying yet from our own poison damage, although I got to be mindful of that, so we'll just pass for turn. Watch my opponent's Scyther full, which is great for us, because Scizor could... I mean, right now, Scizor isn't going to do anything insane. It's only swinging 150, but I might accidentally put, you know, another Brute Bonnet, or probably not Brute Bonnet, probably more like a Pecharunt, or Fez down, you know, Pokemon like that, and then there'll be more abilities, and yeah, they'll be able to KO Roaring Moon in the right setup. And just to prevent myself from worrying about that, I'll just deal with Scyther now, because Scizor, excuse me, when this evolves, is a very, very overpowered single prize attacker. They're going to use their 3rd Ultra Ball, get rid of Boss and Nest Ball. They do have Fez in hand for Flip the Script, and I'm sure they will take out an Arch Aladdin here. Although there is only 1 energy in the discard pile, so if my opponent does not get more energy in the discard pile, they might have a very difficult time attacking this turn. They pull out Hops, Wooloo, and go in with the Research to draw 7 cards into a full hand, and they still have access to Flip the Script to put them up to 10 cards in a hand. Now, they need to get at least 1 more energy in the discard pile. You know, Jamming Tower is annoying, but only because it shuts down this tool and shuts down the HP bonus. However, Toxic Powder still works. So if I need to use the poison damage for any reason, well, I still have access to Toxic Powder, which is pretty big. My opponent is going to hammer in, taking the KO that way. I did not see that one coming. You know what? This is okay, though, because I have Boss, and I got Calamity Storm on Fez. We're taking another 2 prizes this turn. I will bench Roaring Moon. I'll attach the Dark Energy here, and then we're just going to go Boss onto Fez. Tool Jam, or Jamming Tower is annoying, so I might as well just use Calamity Storm and get rid of their Stadium. And that's it. This deck is just insane. Discard the Stadium, yeah. I've never been a fan of Roaring Moon. let me say that right now. This deck has always been too overpowered in my mind. It does it all so easily. And I think with rotation, I was worried, like, Greninja's gone, you know, that's like an insane attacker for this deck. You know, like Temple of Sinnoh's huge, because now Mist Energy does a lot more work. Like, yeah, these are problems. However, like, how does my opponent respond to this? They're down 3 prize cards. We were Iona'd, I guess, so we don't really have much in hand right now. But if nothing else, like, I'll just go in with Pecharunt again and just litter some good damage counters down. Like, we have time to relax now. And even if they do evolve, they're not taking the KO. They're doing Hammering. Yeah, like, we just Calamity Storm. I mean, I guess we wouldn't... I'm sorry, what was I going to say? We wouldn't KO them? Would that be better? Or would it be better to just... I'm going to Nest Ball. I'm going to take out Fez. And then if they go Boss on Fez, I just promote the setup Roaring Moon and tell them to cope. We do have Pecharunt. I could play Perilous Jungle and discard it just to take the prize. I feel like that's the better option. Let's do it. I was going to say, or I could go in with the single prize Pecharunt, but I don't think that's going to change much. Discard the Stadium? Yeah. Let me take the KO. We'll take 1 prize card left. Now my opponent has to do something so insane this turn. I don't know what they could do that could be that detrimental. We get a Stadium out. Oh my gosh. We have 260 HP left, which Arch Aladdin cannot hit unless they go Arch Aladdin Black Belt's Training. And that, like, if they pull that off, we're in a bit of a trickier spot. I'll just go in with Pecharunt, poison them, and do some poison damage. If they don't pull that off, Frenzied Gouging. That's it. That's it. We're good. They hammering. We just beat our opponent while they're down. Oh my god. The match number 1. Damn, we had the Sada top deck in case they did KO us. I'll Frenzied Gouging them out of principle. I don't know. You gotta see it once per game, especially in game 1, right? You know, nothing like Frenzied Gouging a single prize attacker, and this is why the tool is so helpful. You know, we would have KO'd ourselves there. Not that it would have changed anything, but we would have, and now we didn't. That was nuts. 1-0. Let's hop into match number 2. See if we can make that 1-0 a 2-0 and guarantee ourselves the positive record. Welcome to match number 2. We open up with another solid hand. We are going first in this match, and we are going to have to bench Fez immediately because there's a great chance I'm going to need to use Carmine, which means I'm going to lose Night Stretcher, which means I won't be able to get Fez back. So I'd rather play it now and have it, and if my opponent boss KOs it at any point, I mean, like, it's not like we could recover it anyways, so we might as well try to get it down now. And my opponent is playing Duskull and Hoot Hoot, so we cannot take the Donk KO, which is unfortunate, but it's alright. We can go Nest Ball, however, we might as well get down Squawk, right? Yeah, just to dig a little bit deeper, if needed, because I don't know if I will draw into a Nest Ball or Ultra Ball or Squawk after this Carmine. I'll smack the Binding Mochi down on Roaring Moon in case that becomes relevant. I would just want to get value out of whatever I can, and we're going to use Carmine, getting rid of a Sada, as well as a Night Stretcher, and we'll draw into a bunch of cards. Alright. I don't think we're going to be able to take the KO. I can... Actually, that's not true. We can Squawk and Seize. Alright. If I must. Let's Earthen Vessel away in energy. Take out 2 more energy. I'm going to use Ultra Ball to get rid of one of those energy as well as the Pokégear. I'm going to attach the other 2 Roaring Moon just to get ahead on my attachments. I'm going to take Brute Bonnet just because I do have the Ancient Booster Capsule and I do want to take full advantage of this tool if I can. We will get down the Dark Energy, and we will Squawk and Seize. We need a Nest Ball, Ultra Ball, or Pecharunt, and we are good to go. Nest Ball will do. Nest Ball will definitely do. So we are going to go in with Pecharunt. I will use Subjugating Chains, throw Pecharunt in the active, and then I'll use Toxic Powder. Now, if you're wondering why I didn't go Toxic Powder and then try to not poison my Pecharunt, it's because if I have to use the EX ability, I'm going to get poisoned no matter what, and then we'll pass 4 turn, KOing my opponent's Duskull. They are left with a Hoot Hoot, and we are up 1 prize on the first turn of the game. And there is the Donk play, in case you guys needed to see how it works. That's it. I mean, I'd be more amazed if you haven't seen it at this point. I feel like the Donk Pecharunt is kind of everywhere. It's in a whole bunch of decks right now. Even our Chaladin has found ways to stick in the poison package. And it's become a very overpowered, like a great single prize option with Binding Mochi to give certain decks like that extra damage buff. Because a lot of decks, it's like 40 damage is huge and allows like our Chaladin to take extra KOs and things it couldn't. So now if you're playing, you know, Brute Bonnet, a poison with Binding Mochi, I mean, what's stopping you from playing Pecharunt? And like if you have option, you know, you're already playing Squawk in a lot of our Chaladin lists, so if you have the option to take the Donk KO, why would you not? Or even just get extra damage down. Sometimes you just don't have an ability to set up what you need in your deck, so it's much easier to just pass for turn and get some cheeky poison damage down. You know, it's like 6 damage counters is huge. Sure, it's most likely not going to KO your opponent's like EX Pokemon at a certain point, but if that EX Pokemon is stuck in the active and didn't evolve throughout the course of their turn, then when it comes back, then it's 120 damage, and now all of a sudden that's insanely relevant for a lot of decks. That's a huge buff for just a pass for turn when you brick. So this poison package, I think, has really changed the state of the game, and I think has been one of the more impactful things I've seen since rotation. And I'm definitely curious to see, you know, how it evolves and what it becomes. My opponent did take their time using Nest Ball. It seems they are prize checking pretty hard, which I'm excited for. I want to play against opponents who are serious, who come ready to rumble, regardless of what deck they're playing. Now, it seems with the Ditto, they are playing Terra Box, so I'm sure here I will see an attach retreat on Hoot into Ditto to switch into the Water Pond or something of the sort. Yep, there it is. The Fire Energy, not what I expected, to be honest. Yeah, wait, what in Terra Box could use the Fire Energy? I'm not sure. I know there's Grass. I know there's Psychic often. What else do I see very frequently? You know, like a Pikachu EX, maybe Metal Grass. Yeah, they already play that in the site. Yeah, I don't know. Terrapagos. Why Fire, though? I'm interested. I don't know. And they're just going to pass. Okay, that's fine. I mean, we could take a KO on Terapagos this turn, potentially. We do have 2 energy in the discard pile. What else would I need to hit? We don't have... Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go Sada. We're going to get an energy down on Roaring Moon as well as Brute Bonnet. We do play Energy Switch. If I could draw into an Energy Switch, that would be huge. And a Secret Box would do. Would that be worth it, though? Because then I could attach to Roaring Moon. Oh, wait. No. We're chilling. We don't need to use Secret Box this turn. We attach Roaring Moon. We use Pecharunt to put it into the active spot. I do kind of want a Stadium, though. I don't want to Frenzied Gouging if I don't have to. And Calamity Storm would be massive. So let's do it. Let's Secret Box. Let's get rid of Roaring Moon, Ultra Ball. Let's get rid of the Vessel. I kind of like the energy in hand. We don't have any energy left in the discard pile. I'll get rid of the energy. I'm going to keep these 2 because if my opponent boss KOs Brute Bonnet, we are in a tough spot. I do have another Roaring Moon I can use, and I think I could play this match with 2 Roaring Moon, Pecharunt, and Pecharunt EX. So I like that a little bit more. Let's take Sada for the following turn. Let's go E-Switch, right? I mean, I could use Pecharunt, but I do really like E-Switch. Just to even get energy down on Pecharunt could be pretty big. I will gladly take Ancient Booster, Energy Capsule, and Perilous Jungle. Yeah, this is cool. All right. And now we can go Pecharunt into Roaring Moon. We will, I guess, you know, I could have used Toxic Powder and KO'd. No, because, yeah, actually, we would have done 220, but we got Binding Mochi. Actually, Binding Mochi's already been down. Yeah, we'll swing 260. I'm not going to use the Energy Switch onto Pecharunt just because I don't know what I'm going to need next turn. I am going to discard this Stadium so I could swing 260, get over that 230 mark, and take 2 more prize cards. Now we're up 3 prize cards. My opponent has yet to get any energy down on attacking Pokemon, and we get the final Stadium out of our deck. This is why we don't play 4 Stadiums, too. I was really considering playing 4 Stadiums, but you don't need to. I feel like you use Perilous Jungle once for the donk for the single prize Pecharunt. After that, just 60 damage is usually plenty. I mean, sure, and maybe Arch Out and it could help fix math once, but again, really just once do you need it. After that, you're kind of just seeing what your opponent's got in store, and we have devastated my opponent's Terapagos deck. So we are up to, got the guaranteed positive record. Let's hop into match number 3 and see if we can get the perfect record with Roaring Moon EX. Welcome to match number 3. We open up with the Pecharunt, and my opponent is playing Iona's Wattrel. They are playing the Iona deck. That's a pretty fun one, actually. It's a deck I might have to visit sometime soon on the channel. Honestly, wait, let me know if you want me to play the deck. I've been considering it. Honest opinions, I don't think it's that insane. I think it's alright. I don't know, compared to, like, Hop's deck, I feel like a lot of the other trainer decks we're seeing that, because I feel like most of them are out at this point, if not all of them, just kind of fall short of Hop. I mean, Enzoric, I guess, has potential, but I don't think it has the late-game damage output that's needed. I don't know, and they're playing Hyper Aroma now. Not that they have to worry about an Iono, but that is something to worry about when you're playing this deck, because, you know, if your opponent goes Iono right now, you've wasted your A-Spec, all your evolutions are on the bottom of the deck, you're cooked. Generally, I usually tell people don't play a card unless you're actually going to use what you get out of it, or you could get some benefit out of showing your opponent and hoping they Iona you, if it's like an Ultra Ball or something, and you're like, I please think I need this, and then Iona me, because I really don't. I am going to get a little bit of a dead hand, but you know what, we can make this one work. I'm actually not gonna take anything, because I'm just gonna Ultra Ball for Squawk, and I really don't want all of this energy in my deck, or in my discard pile, excuse me. And we do have one more Mochi. That's good. I'm gonna attach an energy here. I don't know why, but I'm willing to. Let's Binding Mochi it. Why not? We've got 2 cards left. I can still Ultra Ball for Squawk. I'm not going to Ancient Booster Capsule this guy, so I might as well, right? It's going to go in the discard pile regardless, because I'm going to Squawk and Seize, so I might as well Squawk and Seize and have some fun. Let's smack down Squawkabilly. I need a Nest Ball, Ancient Booster Capsule, we're good to go. Let's take a KO on Iona's Wattrel. And we are pretty close to that, actually. Night Stretcher, double Earthen Vessel, going to do me 0 favors. Yeah, we'll just Carmine. I don't need any of that stuff. And this looks like the same exact hand I was just holding, but at least it had a couple Ancient Booster Capsules in it, so now I can get the poison down. I can just pass for turn. I don't know. I don't want a Carmine next turn, but I guess if I have to, I will. I just don't want to get rid of 2 tools like this and have nothing to pay off just another Carmine. Even the energy switch feels kind of bad. Yeah, I mean, they're going to take a KO on the active. Energy switch is going to hit the discard pile. Bolt these tools. I'll smack a Mochi on Squawk if I have to. It's not like it's going to do anything else since I'm just going to Carmine it away with no way to recover. And my opponent does have Electric Steamer. So this is the one where you're going to get, yeah, energy to any of your Iono's Pokemon. And then this guy, Pokemon you're playing. Okay, you discard Electric Energy. You then get a bunch of cards. You use Lavencia, pull energy back. All right, I'm seeing the flow. I haven't looked into Iono's deck too much. I have when the set came out, and I was planning a bunch of decks, and then I haven't thought about it because I really haven't seen this deck at all. Did they just... what? Why didn't they play the research? They got rid of... they had another. That's why they went superior for 1 as well, because it didn't matter. Okay, well, my opponent definitely has the KO, unless they're looking for a counter catcher or something. Getting some extra energy down. That could be pretty huge, right? Honestly, it'd be tough. They'd get 2 prizes up. I'm kind of rooting for my opponent at this point. I kind of want Iono's deck to clutch up. I think what hurts his deck so much is like 60 HP. Like, that's brutal. Yeah, counter catcher on Squawk. Yo! Wait, no, Brute Bonnet. What? Sure. All right. I mean... yeah, I guess that actually is pretty annoying, huh? Top deck Nest Ball 1 time. Dark Energy, you know what? That'll go there. Carmine, I do have another Ancient Booster Capsule. I'm not gonna find it. Okay, hey. Well played. Well played. We can get Fez, though, and draw 3. I need Nest Ball, Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, and we're good to go. Come on, let me see it. Let me see it. Pecharunt. Alright, that's surprisingly not gonna help either. None of this really is, to be honest. I could retreat, but that doesn't feel good. I'll Poison Chain. Man. If I had an energy switch, I could have made something work. No, even that wouldn't feel good. Wait, what? Hold up. Why did I take the KO? I thought I swung for 10. What? Oh, I forgot it. This attack poisons them. Oh my god. That's huge. I forgot about that. I was like, why did I KO them? I was swinging for 10. I poison them with Poison Chain, and then since they're poisoned, they take 5 more damage counters, so they take 6, which means that I swung for 70. Completely forgot about that. Okay, hey, that works, and they're just going to counter catcher up Fez and probably take the KO. Honestly, don't even hate an Iono here. They're leaving my single prize Pecharunt down, and I get Roaring Moon Sada! Oh my gosh. Oh my lord. Dude, but if I could pull off the KO. Alright. Who are we going to lead with? What does this attack do? They just can't attack. Okay, if I could take a KO here, that'd be pretty big. What would I need? I would need Sada, Manual Attach, E-Switch. Doable. We've seen how many E-Switch? 1, I believe. 2. Okay, so we only have 1 left. That's pretty bad. Alright. Hey, that's fine. That is okay. They're going to pull 2 energy out of their discard pile. They're going to use Flashing Draw to discard 1, draw up to 6. And they're going to play another Belly Bolt, which is fair. Now, I guess if I take a KO, it'd be a bit less effective since they could just keep attaching energy. Oh, this deck is kind of fun. I like this one. That's fun. Thunderous Bolt, 230. Hey, that's cool. Did I get rid of my Night Stretcher? I'm not sure. I did. Okay, so that Fez is gone forever. Let's throw Pecharunt up here. Why not? I don't know. Seems fun. I could stop them from retreating. That would be pretty big if I could pull off a little poison. That doesn't help too much. I don't think I want to Carmine, do I? No. I'd rather just go Sada here, even if it's just 1 energy onto Roaring Moon. I think that's better for us. And we'll get Ultra Ball Boss. Not bad, not bad. I don't think that's going to save us any. So I will just Poison Chain, stop them from retreating, get some good poison damage done. It'll make it easier to Calamity Storm the following turn. Yeah, that works. I'll play down another Pecharunt, see what my opponent's got in store for us, and we're going to Poison Chain. So now they can't retreat. They need some sort of switch out. We know their Ace-Spec is Hyper Omo. We know they're not playing Prime Catcher. I'd imagine honestly, they might not play a switch out in this deck. just because they're banking on retreating. Like, it's like Chien Pao. You just have so many energy. You have an ability that can accelerate as many energy as you want, whenever you want. You know, it's like you don't need to retreat. You can use Lavencia. You've got an energy. Yeah, you've got 3 energy in the discard pile, so you could draw up to a massive hand with Kilowattrel. Alright, this deck is kind of cooking. That's not bad. That's not bad. I like seeing another Iono. We'll draw new 4 cards. A bit unfortunate. I did like the Sada in hand. Don't mind looking for a new 4, though. This hand is honestly a lot worse. Okay, that's fair. I know 2 Sada are towards the bottom of mid-deck, though. Word. They'll use Electric Streamer. I mean, hey, they can't attack this turn. They'll take 6 more damage of Poison. I'll use Poison Chain again. Just boost it another 10. The Poison's going to stay the same. It's not like the Poison stacks again, but that's okay. You know, we even have Boss's Orders, so I could boss up something else, get some more damage down too. I don't hate that, honestly. Huh. How many energies in the discard pile? 2. Ah, man, I was gonna say, if they have less than 2 in the discard pile, we could boss up this Belly Bolt, attack it, it can't retreat, and they might not have enough energy to set it up, but it doesn't seem that's gonna be likely. They'll take another 6 damage of poison. And how many Boss's Orders have they used? We gotta be careful on how far behind we fall at this point. And alright, you know what? I don't hate this. I don't hate this. I might have to start setting up Pecharunt, though. Very easy to KO. However, I don't know if I've got another great out. I am going to Vessel away. We do... Ah, man. If they have Boss, we're in trouble. I could take up Kilowattrel, right? Is there one in the discard pile already? There is. They haven't played Rod or anything like that. They might not, honestly. Do I just chase down Kilowattrel? I kind of like how we're on an even prize card, though. I kind of want to stay on an even prize card. I could see that causing a lot of problems for us in the late game. Let's attach the energy here. However, it would buy me some much-needed time. They'll jump to 180. Yeah, I think our damage on Belly Bolt is good at this point. I'm going to bring up Kilowattrel. And then use Poison Chain. Roaring Moon is ready to go in the next turn. They can't retreat. I don't know if they have 3 energy to use Match Bolt for KO. If they do that, that could be problematic, honestly. And we're still in top deck mode. Maybe I should have used Vessel just to shuffle the deck. I just didn't want to get rid of a Brute Bonnet. Ah, man. This is tricky. Okay. They'll take 2 energy from their discard pile. They have none left. They can use Belly Bolt's ability, Electric Streamer, to get 3 energy onto Kilowattrel. That would be bad, again. Very bad. But they also would get... No, they wouldn't get KO'd on the return because... Actually, I mean, I could promote another Pecharunt, but I believe they would die at the same time before I promote a Pokemon. I'm not sure. They take Vessel. If they have any energy left, we're going to see right here. We could try to deck my opponent out, although I don't know how likely that's going to be. They'll use Buddy Buddy Poffin as the discard fodder, and they have even more energy left in the deck. Man, they got 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 12. They got 14 energy in the deck. That's a lot more than Chien Pao ever played. I guess he could, though, in a deck like this. And they get 4 energy down on Kilowattrel. Interesting. Okay. You didn't need to do all that. You could have put that energy anywhere else. You'll use Super Rod before the energy hit the discard pile as well to bring back another Kilowattrel. Makes sense since this one's going to fall. Surprised you did it now, though. And you'll get rid of 1... Oh, wait. You discard 1 energy from... Oh, from this Pokemon. Oh, and not from your hand. That makes sense now, doesn't it? And you'll swing for KO. Do I get to promote a Pokemon before? No, I don't. No, I don't. Okay, so we'll promote Roaring Moon here. You'll take 10 damage. Oh my god, wait. No, I should have promoted Pecharunt. What? What? 230. I think we're cooked here. I don't think there's anything I can do. Yeah. I mean, even if I promoted Pecharunt, right? Took the KO, took 1 prize. Use Vessel. Get Roaring Moon. He promotes He promotes this kill. Honestly, he promotes Voltorb. I'm cooked, right? I take 2 prizes. I would have taken 3 prize cards. I still would have been 1 short. Because I would have needed Roaring Moon in the active to take the 2 prize cards. Even if Pecharunt was in the active, would have done nothing. Yeah, I think it's chalked. Well played for my opponent. I mean, yeah. Because now it's like I go Vessel. They do 230. Not that Voltorb can't KO. So it's like no matter what I do, I'm kind of cooked here. Alright, I mean, I guess it was a small misplay from me. I'll hit my opponent with a thumbs up. That was solid, honestly. I was talking smack about that deck, saying it wasn't pretty good, and I just got washed by it. That was, hey, was a cool match. That was kind of fun. And now I'm definitely looking into an Ionis deck. Anyways, though, for that last play, like, I know it was a misplay, but I don't think it mattered. I just forgot how and when the poison and death interaction worked. I could have promoted the single prize Pecharunt, taken the KO on Kilowatt Roll, would have had 3 prize cards remaining. I then would have, assuming they promoted a Belly Bolt, would have promoted Roaring Moon. We saw our top deck was a Nest Ball, so it's not like it was boss's orders. So when they gave me a single prize like Voltorb, it didn't matter because I KO Belly Bolt using Frenzied Gouging. Actually, no, I wouldn't have had to. I would have used Calamity Storm because I could have. There was a Stadium in play. And then I would have had 1 prize card remaining. My opponent had 2 prize cards remaining and a Belly Bolt swinging for 230, and I'm pretty sure Voltorb could have gotten there as well. So they would have taken their last 2 prize cards and won. I think they kind of had game no matter what, which is unfortunate, but hey, it was a ton of fun. I seriously think Roaring Moon is a very viable deck right now in the meta. I think this is one worth bringing out and trying again. So yeah, you know, if you're looking for a random deck to play, climb the ladder a little bit, you know, play to a small tournament, a ladder, local tournament, something like that. I'd look into Roaring Moon. It's not bad. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. With that being said, stay epic. Peace.